What's good, YouTube? This is the unstable Dusknoir. If you don't know, I was originally Nova 1560, and if you're wondering why I have deleted all my videos, it is because as soon as Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out, I started playing Ultra Sun, and the passion I used to have for Pokemon that I haven't felt since either X and Y or the Mystery Dungeon series, was reunited in these games. Like, I'm trying to complete the Pokedex. I've done a lot of shiny hunting from the Ultra Wormholes. It is amazing. I've also just finished the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl anime again, because it is probably my favorite version of the Pokemon anime. So this video is to explain why the channel has changed so drastically with no notice. Now, as for a schedule, do not have one. Not right now. I will be planning to come up with a schedule. I am already working on a Pokemon theory that I am doing a lot of research for, because I haven't really seen anyone covered this yet, so I'm going to be doing that. I may do some Nuzlockes on this channel, so if you would like to give me feedback on what you'd like to see, or the quality of my videos, or just things you would like me to improve on, just leave them in the comments. I'll look at them, and I'll do the best I can to make yourself and me happy with this channel. Now, this is, unlike my other channel, I didn't upload frequently, but as of right now, I've got a lot of free time. I have heaps of motivation for this, so I can't wait to actually start recording videos. Now, the first thing I'm really going to talk about in this video, I'm going to call it something like Update plus Why Dusknoir. And that's because when I had my other channel before I deleted everything, my channel mascot was Dusknoir. And I think having a channel mascot is great, but with no story, Now, for you to see why Dusknoir is my favorite Pokemon, and yes, it's been my favorite Pokemon since Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Darkness, which I got for Christmas, and it was my first Pokemon game on DS. The second Pokemon game I had ever owned. The first Pokemon game I had owned was Pokemon Yellow on a green Game Boy Color, which sadly got dropped in the bath and stopped working. That really sucked. Anyway, the reason I love Dusknoir so much is because of his role in the Mystery Dungeon series, and there's a lot of Pokemon that I prefer in the Mystery Dungeon series than them in normal games or in the anime. The reason for that is because in the Mystery Dungeon games, they get their own personality, they have their own perspective, and it's like the Pokemon become more human, they become more relatable. Like, Dusknoir works for... Okay, spoilers. So Dusknoir works for the first final boss, which is Primal Dialga. Also, the battle music for that is amazing. But when you first meet Dusknoir, he seems to be very nice and caring, and that he just wants to help you. But then you get one little thing that seems kind of suspicious, is when he asks you what your name is, and that tells you that you have the Dimensional Scream. He says he doesn't know anything, but then it has in brackets, did Dusknoir just hide the faint of a smile? Meaning, did he hide the smallest chance of him smiling? This is the first indication that you shouldn't trust Dusknoir. But, not only that, but, like, the way Dusknoir is he works independently. He is amazingly strong and knowledgeable, because that's something I really like in characters. The smarter they are, the more, the bigger of a fan I am, because I myself am a big nerd. Like, I love my history, my science, and that, so knowledge is something I really enjoy. And Dusknoir does that. Not only that, but I too have an adventurous side, like the main characters of the Pokemon game, when they get excited by the possibilities of finding treasure that's been lost for centuries, or treasures that no one ever knew existed. Like every time I read that, especially the first time I was playing it, the excitement I had was like, this is something I'd want to do in my life. I would want to go exploring, looking for treasures and stuff like that. So the Mystery Dungeon games have a lot of story, and all the Pokemon have their own personalities. And because of this, Dusknoir isn't just some creepy ghost Pokemon. He's not just some weird looking thing that gets forgotten because Dusclops is in the game with Eviolite, blah 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 blah. Yes, Dusknoir gets overshadowed by Dusclops and competitive and blah 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 blah. Because I do enjoy some competitive battling myself. But the thing is, there is no real Dusclops in the game that has a personality within the main story. But Dusknoir does. And the first time you find out that Dusknoir's actually the bad guy and Grovyle's actually the good guy, it's just like, wow. You can only kind of just get that. And then the battles you have with them, they're not that easy. Like, on the way to Temporal Tower, when you're going to take the Time Gears back, you have to fight Dusknoir. And he's there with all his Sableye, which I think there's like 5 or 6 of them. I'm not too sure about that. But it's a really hard fight. And Dusknoir has a lot of HP in the game. I'm not too sure how much. But not only that, but if you go by Dusknoir's stats, he's got base 135 special defense and 135 physical defense. So he is bulky. And in the Pokemon games, in the Mystery Dungeon games, you do not evolve until you finish the whole game, which is when you defeat Darkrai. And so when you're fighting him with just you, the other main character, and Grovyle, it can be really hard. And not only that, like, he is a ghost type, so he's got a lot of resistances. Like, because a lot of the starters are either fire, water, or grass. And grass can't really do too much to Dusknoir. The Sableye have Fury Swipes, which tends to do a lot. And you won't have too many moves that's super effective against him, so doing that huge chunk of damage is really hard unless you've got a Pikachu. Like if you're playing Time or Darkness and you've got a Pikachu, you can just discharge because that hits everyone, which is really great. But besides that, you've got to really wait for him to come up close, and you've got to make sure you've got a lot of Reviver Seeds, Orange Berries, or anything else just to survive and deal enough damage to win. And then after you beat Dusknoir, okay, let's say you beat him finally, there's this amazing thing where Dusknoir gets back up and he opens up the mouth on his stomach, and he goes to release this attack. It's kind of like a Shuttle Bull, but like it's actually not, because it doesn't have the design of it, and it seems to be very powerful. Now, personally, I wish that was a real move. I'd love to see what it was called, what effect it would have, its base power and stuff like that. But just Dusknoir as an individual Pokemon in the Mystery Dungeon games, he had an amazing personality. He was tough. He kept me guessing a lot, and he made me intrigued about that one attack that we actually counter somehow, which really sucks because I would have loved to see what would have happened if we had been hit by that. Sadly, we don't. But not only that. So besides the Mystery Dungeon games where I first fell in love with Dusknoir, like to be honest, his design I have no problem with. I truly love his design. Like, it's a ghost with one eye. You read his Pokedex entry, it gets radio commands from the spirit world to take spirits back to the other realm. See, I also have a massive what do you call it? I'm really curious about death and the Grim Reaper. Like, I know the Grim Reaper technically isn't real, it's just a personification of death. But, like, the idea of what happens after death, or what happens when you're dying, like, some people believe that when you die, that flashback you're going through, you're actually reliving that. So, let's say you're dying, and 5 seconds have passed. But it's gonna feel like you've gone through your whole life. So technically, it's as if you are reliving it. And so technically, people say you don't die because you keep reliving it. Because then by the point you get to dying again, it keeps on going. Now I find that fascinating. But here's a Pokemon that literally, it is pretty much death or a harbinger of death. I'm not too sure if that's the word, but he's like a seven of death. There we go. I think that's the best way to put it. And so because of my obsession with death, not like, yeah, I know that sounds kind of creepy, but I mean it more in I'm really curious about it, and like also like bosses who are designed on Reapers and that I reckon look really cool and are really fascinating. So because Dusknoir also embodies that, it's almost like the perfect Pokemon to embody me. And yeah, that's all I've got to say. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. And that's my phone. Ciao.